Hello again, guys. Pretty excited. My new exhaust system came in for the TDI today. This is a 3-inch from the turbo back. You can see here this bolts up to the turbo, and then you can see right here the pipe changes in size to 3-inch OD, and it comes in, I think, 4 different sections here with the resonator. No cat, and here this is, see, I have an LH, so I don't need this. So I have a plug with a copper seal along with 3 nuts for the turbo, along with a new gasket, clamps, and hanger for the rear. This is the rear pipe. See it better once I go to install. But yeah, pretty exciting. So the whole reason I wanted to upgrade is because my stock exhaust actually broke right after the cat. You can see right there. I've been riding that way for about 2 weeks now. It's kind of loud, but not too bad. But yeah, so I'm probably going to start with the rear since it's already broken too here. So I'm going to start right here with this hanger area, drop this, and then continue on down. So, but before you guys start on this, make sure your vehicle is safely supported. I pulled the front end up on ramps, and then the rear, I put the 2 jack stands at the appropriate jacking points. So we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so I'm going to start right here, basically the center of the vehicle, and remove these nuts. They're 8 13mm nuts. I have them sprayed up. I love this stuff. It works really well. So I have them sprayed up, and they've been soaking for a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and start to remove those now. Alright, just be careful when this is ready to drop. So I have my last nut here. Alright, it's loose. Slowly lower this down gently, and that'll just hang there like so. And then we can start in the back, or actually I'm going to go ahead and remove this right here, this part, and get this out of my way. So that's the next step. These bolts are 13mm. Again, make sure you spray the underside of them, let them soak for a little bit, and they should come off fairly easily. There's 4 of them, and hopefully these mounts will be okay. Okay, so I have this bracket removed. Now the exhaust mounts are still on the pipe here, so these just slide right off, but I'm going to go ahead and get new ones. These are pretty badly rusted, as you can see right there, and this other side as well. I couldn't even get a socket on here. I had to use an open-ended wrench because these are just, they're rusted underneath the rubber, and it's just, you can see that it's pretty bad. It's all just falling apart. So I have to order new ones. The part numbers should actually be on here, but I will have them up in the description so you can check that out. But these simply just slide right off here, so you might need to get a screwdriver under there and get it started and pull it right off. Alright guys, you can see this other hanger here right behind the muffler. Same thing, I'm going to pop this out, so you can lube this end up with some WD-40 and work it back and forth. It should slide right through. Okay, so here we are at the rear of the vehicle. And this hanger here is your last one. This might be a little tricky, but we'll just have to wiggle it back and forth until we can slip it over top of this area here. So might be somewhat of a challenge, but we'll give it a shot. Now guys, you can see I got it started there a little bit. What I did was I got some WD-40 right here, sprayed it in there and kept wiggling it like this, back and forth, and it'll slowly pull through, as you can see it right there. So if I continue to apply a little bit of pressure and wiggle it back and forth, it will continue to pop out of there. Okay, I finally got it. It actually took a good bit of effort to try to wiggle that out of there, but this hanger is still in good shape. But now I have this whole assembly to try to get out of here. It's resting on the rear axle beam right now. That's why I have that towel there, because earlier this summer I had this out and I painted the whole thing, so I don't want to scratch it up. Alright guys, so I'm going to make a cut right about here to remove this muffler and exhaust system. So it'll be a lot easier. So make sure you wear eye and ear protection, and I have my Sawzall here with a metal blade. Go ahead and start cutting right through this thing. Okay, I made my cut. I pulled the rear muffler off. As you can see, it's sitting over here. It's actually pretty big. It's got some weight to it, so. And now, I can go ahead and grab this exhaust pipe and pull it over top of the axle beam. Just have to maneuver that a little bit. There we go. Okay. So that's what that looks like. Where it broke, right here. I'm going to go ahead and remove the belly pan there and get access to the 3 nuts that hold this onto the exhaust manifold near the turbo. Alright guys, I have the belly pan removed. I'm underneath the vehicle here, and there's the downpipe. So if you can see right above here, we have that one nut there we have to take off. I'm going to spray that up, and if you see, there's one there, and then there's one that's hidden, it's behind the pipe. So we have 3 of those to get off, but first I'm going to go ahead and remove this shield, this plastic shield here, and there's 2 16mm bolts I'm going to remove to give me more room. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, this is what the shield looks like after it's removed. There's the part number for it, in case you might need one. Alright guys, here we have the downpipe connected to the turbo. So, I thought these were 13mm, but when I go to get my socket on there, it's a little sloppy, so I don't really want to chance that. I'll show you guys. So this is 13mm, and it wiggles like that. I don't want to round off these heads. This is a 6-point socket. Now I'll try a 12mm. It's a 12mm socket, and I cannot get it on that nut. Now I don't know if these were 13mm and they corroded down to, you know, a little under 13, but I cannot get this 12mm socket on. I have new copper nuts and they are 12mm. But what I can get on here, and it fits really snug, is a 1/2 inch socket. And this thing fits on there really nice, doesn't wiggle at all. So I'm going to use this and see how it goes. But first I'm going to spray these up real good with some penetrant to try to get it to soak in there, and hopefully these are easy to remove. Alright, this is the stuff I use. It works pretty well. You can see I've sprayed these up, let them soak for about 20 minutes. And I actually have a mirror, a telescopic mirror, because I couldn't see that one nut behind the pipe. I use this. I'll show you guys. Get this up in here so you can see that right there. Which is the back side. So I used that. I held that right there like that, and went around with the penetrant, sprayed it, made sure I got it because I can't see back there. This mirror helped up. So I'm going to go ahead and get my 1/2 inch deep well socket. You'll need a deep well socket for this because this studs stick out pretty far. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and see what happens. Alright guys, this is my setup for this top nut. I have a 1/2 inch deep well socket on there, a little 3-inch extension with my 3/8 drive ratchet, and I actually managed to break this one loose, and I'm slowly gonna back it off here. I don't have much room, but it is what it is. So yeah, just keep spraying that penetrant on these threads. As you can see, it's starting to come out there. So I'm gonna continue on here and try to break these other two loose, and hopefully it's just as easy. I actually tried to tighten first. So if you go clockwise first a little bit, and then switch your switch on the ratchet and go counterclockwise. That seemed to work for that top one. So maybe try to tighten first, then loosen. So I'm going to go ahead and see what happens with these other two. Alright, so I managed to get this bottom nut loose too. Use the same setup as I did for the top nut. It's coming out, as you can see. So I'm going to continue on here and remove this one, and then the one in the back side. Alright guys, I used the same setup for this last nut here. So I have my 1/2 inch deep well socket on here. I don't know if I can get up in here so you guys can see that, or maybe not. It's a little tight to try to get in there. So, but right now the nut is loose. So I'm going to continue and take that off the rest of the way. But you have to do that one blind, so I actually use my right hand to stabilize that socket, and then my left hand I got up in here like this and operated the ratchet. It's very tight, but with some patience you can get it. Alright, this is the last part of this procedure, and then I can remove the downpipe. This mount here, this is a 13mm bolt on each side. I sprayed that up with some of that Aerocroil. And now I'm going to take this off and then remove the downpipe. Okay, the downpipe is off, and you can see the new one lined up right beside it here. The catalytic converter was on the OEM exhaust system. I opted out for this new exhaust system. I don't need emissions where I live, so it's just a straight pipe with a resonator further on back down the line. You'll see that as we move on here. So you can see I have this bung for a, I think it's the BEW engine, and I have the ALH, so I don't have a sensor here, so I'm going to go ahead and plug that, which they give me in this kit. So I'll put this on along with that copper gasket. I'll put that on there first, and then I'll go ahead and line this up along with my new gasket here. And they give me these 3 copper nuts, which are 12 millimeter. So I have that all set up and ready to go. Alright guys, before you go to install that new downpipe, don't forget to remove the old gasket that's on here. Just simply slides right off these studs. And throw this away. They give you a new one in the kit. You can see the turbo in there. A little bit of carbon buildup. This is the original turbo, the VNT15. Reach in here and see if there's any play. A little bit. I'm about due for a new turbo soon, but right now I'm gonna go ahead and install this downpipe and probably put some copper anti-seize on these threads to make removal easier. Okay, I have this all cleaned up here pretty good. Threads are clean. Let's take our new gasket. Simply slide it over top. And I'm going to get my downpipe now. And oh, actually I'm going to get the copper anti-seize and coat these threads before I put the downpipe into place. Okay, I'm ready to install this downpipe. I have my new hanger installed, just simply slipped right over top of these little hanger arms. And I have this plug installed. So I'm going to go ahead and take my downpipe underneath the car here. Now it's going to go up through this hole here. So it's going to be kind of hard for me to hold the camera and do this, but you get the idea. So you have to lift it up and slowly guide it through up to the turbo. Alright, I have the downpipe in position and it slid right over top of that turbo pretty nicely. So while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 bolts back in for the hanger, and then I'll move up front and install those 3 12 millimeter nuts for the turbo. Okay, the next step, we can install our copper nuts. These are 12 millimeter, so it's a little tight in here, especially since this is a larger pipe now. But you have to maneuver as best you can. So I'm going to continue on here and get all these on and tighten them up. Okay, I'm ready to torque these down here. They get torqued to about 18 foot-pounds or about 25 newton meters. So use your 12 millimeter deep well and tighten these down. Snug them up first so it pulls in evenly, and then torque them down like a crisscross pattern. So do the best you can so this pulls in evenly. Alright, one thing to mention, guys, this top nut, you cannot get a socket on that because the exhaust pipe is too fat. So I'm using an open-ended wrench, 12 millimeter open-ended wrench on that. And it's a little slower, but that's what you got to do. Alright, everything is torqued down. It looks good. Now we can install that shield that goes over top of this CV axle. Remember, these are 16mm bolts. Just slides this right over top. Okay, just lines up and thread those bolts right in there. Okay, now I can install this mid pipe with the resonator. I also bought some new hanger mounts, so we'll just simply slide these on each side. I went ahead and painted this before I install. And here's our downpipe. I have a nice exhaust clamp they gave me, so I'm going to slide this on right like that, and then bring that mid pipe up into position here and get everything mounted up. So here we go. Okay, I chose to install this plate first. I didn't tighten the nuts though, so I can move it because these holes are slotted, so it can slide in case I need to adjust it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that mid pipe now and put it up into position here and see how well it lines up. Okay, I got this mid pipe mounted up here. There's the mounts. Everything went well. So what I had to do is I used some 4x4s as support for that end piece because it kept wanting to fall down on me. And I had to use my leg, and I was sick of using my leg. So I put the wood there, and then I was able to slide this clamp over. It's loose. I didn't tighten it up yet. I want to show you guys. So this is what you'll have. You can move this down pipe up or pull this mid pipe down, move it all around to line this up. So that's what it looks like. So once I got it close, I went ahead and just slid this over top here, and then I'm going to go ahead and tighten these down. These are 15mm. So yeah, it just slides right over top like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's going well so far. Now for the tailpipe piece. Alright, I'm on the last section here. I have a clamp for this end here and a new hanger for this part here. So if you look under the car here, right up here, I believe I'm going to replace that hanger with this one. Looks like the holes will line up there, so hopefully that doesn't give me any problem getting off there. It looks pretty badly rusted, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens. Okay, I managed to get these bolts loose, and I didn't even spray it or anything. They came right off here. So they're 13mm. So, and I will need to reuse these for that new hanger. So save those. And then this hanger is junk. Okay, that's it. So now I can take this new hanger, and it goes up like this. I'll bolt that up there, and then tighten everything up. And this tailpipe will go right over the rear axle, like so. Into position here. I have that exhaust clamp I'll have to use for that. And then that's where that hanger will bolt to, right there. Okay, I have the exhaust hanger on there. I didn't tighten anything up yet though, because I wanted a wiggle room to get this clamp on. So I have this clamp on here. It was tight getting it on. So I slid it on this tailpipe first, and then joined the two pieces together, then slid it over top. So I had to take this nut off first though, so this could open up. But this is a 13mm nut, and it is very close up top to that aluminum heat shield there. You can see that. You might have to bend that a little bit with a hammer or whatever you choose to do, but it is very tight, but it does fit. Now I'm going to go ahead and tighten these up, and then this last tip on the end here shouldn't be too bad. I might have to cut it though, depending on how long it is. It might hit this rear valence. Alright, this last piece here, this is my only complaint of the whole exhaust system. So it's hitting the rear valence here, and it's slightly long for my liking. I would like it to be tucked up under here and exit like right about here, so I wouldn't have to cut this. So I could cut this pipe and slide it back like that, but this mount here for the hanger would be right around here, and my hanger's right here. So I might have to brainstorm on this a little bit, or I might decide to just take this to my local exhaust guy and have him cut this and just weld it, and he can fabricate a hanger. So yeah, I'm gonna see, or I could just cut it and then get my own bracket and mount it on here. I have to brainstorm a little bit and see, but the hard part's done. I can drive it this way. It's solid. It looks good. I hope you guys like the video. I hope it helps you out if you decide to install this 3-inch exhaust system. It's a nice polished tip anyway. Okay, I just finished the tip here. As you can see, I have the clamp on here, and this is the part I had to cut. I cut about 6.5 inches off, so I'll save that in case I need it for something. So KermaTDI sent me this hanger because the hanger that was right around here just didn't line up with this rubber hanger. So I just ground that off, made it nice and smooth so I could slide this connector on there. So I tightened everything up, and it's pretty sturdy. So everything is tight. Everything looks pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with this now, and should last me a very long time. So hopefully you guys like this exhaust video. Please subscribe and check out all my other Volkswagen videos. Take care, guys.